but it did have this interesting, almost like modern Christian rock thing going for it, which I know sounds bad just as a descriptor, but and also I'm thinking of American Christian rock. Luckily, I don't think you guys are plagued by that over there. But it had this really uplifting.
I'd take the locusts any day.
Yeah,
Um,
yes, yes. Hey, everybody out there. Welcome back to another episode of the Audiophiles. It's Andy and it's John. John's over there wearing his Elvis jersey. Looks like Presley
yeah,
77. All right.
yeah. Not a great year for Elvis, but it's worth marking.
So, as you probably know, we are here to listen to some music today, and John is going to be offering up something for me to go off and listen to. But in order to do that, I'm going to need to know the artist and the track. So, John, what do you got?
The group is called McAlmont and Butler.
Okay. Is that like a
Suppliers to the Queen of fine wines and cheeses.
I was gonna say, is that like the British like Hall and Oates? What I don't
Yes, exactly.
okay. Nice. I've never heard of them. So this will be
No,
this will be cool to give them a first listen. And what's the track by them?
the track is called Yes,
Oh,
brackets, full version, in brackets.
okay. Good. I didn't want the half version. I wanted the
No,
full. Nobody
yeah.
wants the diet Pepsi of yes. They want the full sugar real deal.
Mhm.
All right.
Yes, we can.
Well, then I will endeavor to give this track a listen, and I will come back and let you know what I think.
So you wanna know?
Hmm. So interesting start. Kind of begin with that drum beat starting things off, and really from there it can kind of go anywhere. So I really wasn't anticipating where it was going to take us, or I certainly didn't have any certainty about where it was going to take us. And then things come in, we get these like chiming, almost like synthy bits in there, and it has this kind of it blossoms into this kind of almost evangelical type sound to it. It's got this I don't know, this modern rock religious kind of sound to it, almost like it's taken out of some sort of rock revival hymnal or something like that. Really interesting. It looks like we're getting vocals right now in a pretty high register. So let's take it back a little bit and see where it goes from here. I'm interested to hear this voice.
So you wanna know me now? How I've been? You can help someone recover after what you did. So tell me, am
Hmm.
I looking better?
I gotta say, if it's one of these two gentlemen that's singing this song right now, wholly impressed with the register, because if I wasn't given the possible spoiler of a thumbnail here, and I say possible because who knows, maybe one of these two gentlemen aren't singing the song. But if it is indeed a spoiler and one of them is the singer, I am really impressed, because I would have thought that there was a strong possibility that this was a female vocalist providing these lyrics. Um, it has this very again, this celestial type feeling to it, like it's like it's almost gospel or something with a little bit of soul in there as well. Yeah, interesting. Really, really good voice.
Forgot whatever it was that you couldn't stand. About me, about me, about me. Yes, I do feel better. Yes, I do.
Yes, I do feel better.
I feel well enough to tell you what you can do with what you've got to offer. You wanna know me now, how
Flute.
I've been. You can't help someone
Strings.
recover after what he did. So tell me, am I looking better? Have you forgot whatever it was that you couldn't stand? About me, about me, about me. Yes, I do feel better. Yes, I do. I feel alright.
Okay, so one again, like the vocals are this range is astounding to me. It sounds like they're using multiple tracks to lay the vocals because we've got these sort of backing vocals that sound very akin to the voice of the lead vocalist. So it sounds like they're providing their own harmonies or backing vocals and harmonizing with himself. And that sounds fabulous. Also, the arrangement in this, as it's kind of fully blossomed, you've got obviously those synth notes that I mentioned earlier give it this uplifting feeling, but now you have these like really high, lovely, like resonant strings that are going on, and this little flute motif was happening in there as well. Really, really pretty. This isn't something that I would normally gravitate toward, but you can't deny that this is really well put together with all the instrumentation. And it sounds to me like, despite the uplifting nature of the music, that it is about, I don't know, the how the narrator is doing in the wake of some event that occurred between them and whoever this you is that they're referring to throughout it. I think I caught the one line that says, I feel well enough to tell you what you can do with what you got. I think that's what it was. Interesting, interesting lyrics. And it sounds like rather than brooding on whatever that event was, this perhaps a breakup or some sort of separation, that that the narrators actually come out on the other side better for it, perhaps, and they're kind of reveling in that realization.
You out enough to tell you what you can do with what you've got to offer. Yes, I do feel better. Yes, I do. I feel alright. I feel well enough to tell you what you can do with what you've got to offer.
Wow, pretty guitar. That's great. Yes, worthy of some applause. Yeah, God, that last, I don't know, minute and a half or so, give or take, they're just like repeating the refrain, and there's this sort of like culmination of all the music, and it's again soulful and uplifting, and I can't help but feel that there was some like gospel influence on this track for sure. But again, less seemingly from the lyrical content that I could catch, it's not really about religion. It seems like it's about like a breakup, and how one has rebounded from that, and this song is pointed at the person who perhaps caused it, or the I don't know. That's just my interpretation from what I think I caught. Again, first listen, so you'll have that. But yeah, wonderful arrangement with all of these instruments and these moving parts happening. Um, the drums are great in this song, particularly in the second half. Some really nice guitar stuff happening in there as well. I don't know who's who among these two gentlemen and who did. Frankly, if the because the vocals are great and the music is great, and if they both did both, awesome. If one did what they, if one was the singer and the other one was the sort of arranger or the composer of this music, uh hats off to both of them for the work that they did in this. I'm not really sure how it splits up and who did what, but regardless of that, this was a really good outcome, given whatever work they put into this, because it sounds really really good. Again, not something I would normally gravitate toward, the sort of contemporary gospel type sound. Um, but that doesn't mean it's bad. In fact, it means it's good, and it would have been something that would have gone by unheard by me if it wasn't for this channel, which is another reason why I enjoy doing this so much. Yeah, excellent vocals, excellent instrumentation, interesting lyrical content that I'd love to learn more about. There's plenty I'd love to learn more about, and the only way to learn more about any of it or all of it is to get back with your man John. So let's go.
And that's Number Wang. He's back. So you've had a listen to Yes by McAlmont and Butler. What do you think?
This is interesting because this is not something that I would normally gravitate toward. But there are plenty of redeeming qualities to this song that I did find really fun to listen to. So the way the song starts with you get a little bit of this funny guitar sort of noise in the background, like the guy's getting situated is essentially what it sounds like. And then you get the drum beat that starts, and it's this interesting drum beat because you don't know it's just basic enough that you don't know how this thing is going to blossom. You don't know what it's going to turn into. Did you ever grow up having those like little things that look like pills, and you'd pour water on it and then they would turn into something like a sponge that is in the shape of a dinosaur? It was a kid's thing for me when I was little. They looked like little pills. You would pour water on them and then they would turn into something like a dinosaur or a car or something like that. And that's sort of what this drum beat was like, because it was this base simple thing and you didn't really know where it was going to go. And then all of a sudden, it blossoms into this almost, and forgive me, but this like evangelical sound. And I sort of I was taken aback by that. And it's not that it was bad or like it didn't fit or make sense. It was just not what I was expecting. And I think this impression was mostly due to the really uplifting sort of key synth work that had this almost celestial feel to it. Very uplifting. There was also this really great chord progression on the guitar being played, but it did have this interesting, almost like modern Christian rock thing going for it, which I know sounds bad just as a descriptor, but and also I'm thinking of American Christian rock. Luckily, I don't think you guys are plagued by that over there, but it had this really uplifting.
I'd take the Locust any day.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, yes. Well, we get those too, unfortunately. But yeah, and it was something about it that was just naturally uplifting to this whole sound that they've got going on here. And then having never listened to or heard of this group for that matter. And I clearly don't know who's singing this song, but whomever it is has an incredibly high vocal register if it's one of the two gentlemen that was in the thumbnail. Because if I had just popped this on the radio or, played um, on Spotify or something like that, some sort of MP3 version, I would never have guessed that this wasn't a female vocalist because it was such a high
Really?
register. Yeah, it was.
It is high, but for some reason I immediately knew it was falsetto guy. You know.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, good on you because I could have easily been fooled by this. Also, just not. I don't want to like hang around the gender of who sang it. It's not really the point. The point is, it's a really good voice. Like this person, this guy, obviously, now that I know the cat's out of the bag, there can sing his ass off.
I
Um,
mean, I don't want to give any spoilers just yet, but that is the tip of his range.
Jesus Christ, man. That's
Yeah.
really, yeah, really, really impressive. So lyrically, it sounds like, and I say lyrically because it took me a while before I could really start focusing on this because I was just taken aback looking at the two guys and hearing this voice. It sounds like they're discussing how they are doing in the wake of some event that happened, an event that was caused by or at least contributed to by this you who is referenced throughout the track. The most pointed line of the whole track seemed to be the one that's repeated most often, and I believe it's used as like sort of this refrain at the end where I feel well enough to tell you what you can do with what you got. Um, like I'm feeling pretty good, so good I could tell you to piss off is essentially what it sounded like to me. So I'm like, oh, okay, breakup song. But like the kind of breakup song where it's not the oh woe is me, it's more like I'm better because of this, almost like a thank you to the person who, gave you your freedom almost. Um, so there are some really great uses of what sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong here because there's a lot happening, but it sounded like strings, possibly brass, most certainly woodwind. And I don't know if this is all synthesized or if they actually had great, awesome. I was hoping it wasn't because that would have, spoiled it for me. But all this to say that this whole track is arranged really, really well, with all these different moving parts. And as the song sort of takes on the back half, there is the drumming and the what sounds like auxiliary percussions in the form of a tambourine and a shaker are deployed, and the drums get better and better. They're doing like these
Yeah.
really nice rolls. There's all this great accent work that's being done in the percussions, and I love that. Also, I'm not sure if there are multiple vocalists or if it's simply if it's simply multiple vocal tracks. But there are some great examples of vocal layering and harmonization throughout this track, and that really helps bolster the sound. That again adds to this. It's so funny. You're looking at a picture of two guys. It sounds like there's 13 people on this track. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it's between all the vocal tracks and all these auxiliary percussions and the aforementioned sort of string brass woodwind you've got going on. It's like a goddamn whole pit orchestra is in on the track, and it sounds great, lush. The last minute and a half, give or take, with that with where they repeat that refrain that I just talked about, and the culmination of all the music again, it has this soulful, again, uplifting vibe to it that to me really does make this feel like it could be a contemporary, like it has this contemporary religious feel to it, like it's something out of a rock revival hymnal.
Yeah.
And yeah, and and since they're not pounding me over the head with their dogmatic beliefs, and it's not about that, it makes it that much more enjoyable because they're not coming at me with this whole like you're gonna burn in hell, but with us it's great vibe. It's actually about this odd whatever this breakup is. Um, which maybe for them almost is a religious experience because they're like born again. So maybe there's some correlation there as to why it has that kind of sound, but I like it regardless. Um, Again, this isn't something that I would normally gravitate toward, but for what it is, it's done incredibly well. The arrangement, the vocals are outstanding, and they shouldn't go without recognition. And for a breakup song of sorts, it's again one of the more, and I'm not saying they don't exist, but the ratio's got to be like 70-30 on the oh woe is me versus the uplifting we're gonna make it tip. So I'm glad that this fell in the 30% range that you don't hear so often when you're listening to a breakup track. So it was almost like a not only a breakup track, but like a comeback story. Or it had that feel to it. So I enjoyed that. A positive spin on an old classic. So yeah, this is a
Yeah.
pretty good tune. But yeah, tell me more about these guys. Which one of them is the one with the pipes that have seemingly an endless range?
I think there's a few little nuggets of information here that will really tickle your funny bone.
Okay.
Um, so you definitely heard of one of these guys. Pretty famous. But yeah. So yeah, the thing about this song, and I will get into a little bit more. Thing about this song is that it is a number of things all at once. One aspect of it is this slightly gospel feel to it in terms of evangelical
Mm,
feel good without any gospel message at all. It's
yeah.
just that style, which gives you that uplifting feel. So McAlmont and Butler are an English rock stroke soul music duo comprising of singer David McAlmont, he's the guy on the left, and guitarist Bernard Butler. Um, they were active from 94 to 95, 2002 to 2004, 2006, and 2014. And officially they're still doing stuff, but they're not. So pasty white guy on the right as you look at it, Bernard Butler. He had recently departed from a certain band called Suede in
Mm,
acrimonious circumstances, big falling out while they were recording their album. In 2013, he spoke to Enemy about this song's genesis. It was the first piece of music I wrote after I left Suede. I wrote it as an instrumental. Everything was in place, but it didn't have the voice. Everything I'd done in the past 6 months had been really dark. I come out of a very sad situation and lost a lot of friends. So it was a very liberating song.
mm,
So Butler made some demo recordings of the music using the song with Julianne Reagan, who used to be lead singer in All About Eve, and she was singing alternative lyrics. The demo tape is attributed to a fake act they put together called Mrs. Decorating Bike. Um, and with the song title, What the Girl Should Do, question mark on the tape. Um, David McAlmont, meanwhile, he had departed his previous band, a duo called Thieves, acrimoniously as well. And
mm.
around that time, Butler had left, at the same time as Butler had left Suede. And Butler describes in the same interview how they met. I met David at the Jazz Cafe in Camden. I have to stop here. It was back then, because I was knocking around and visiting that place, one of the coolest places in London at the time. It's a fucking awesome venue. I saw the Goats there, which is just amazing. One of the best gigs I've ever seen. Really super cool place. But anyway, he met him at Jazz Cafe and he said, I've got this song. Do you want to try it out? So David came back to me 2 days later and sang the first verse. He had no second verse, so I said, just sing the first one again. Um, I wanted it to be like a great piece of 60s vinyl. So the song was recorded utilizing the wall of sound technique, copyright Phil Spector. And the lyrics of the song are a very thinly disguised attack on their former colleagues in the form of a breakup song. The single was released in May 1995 and was described as a conceptual masterpiece, and the production likened to that of Phil Spector. In support of the song, the duo appeared the following month on Later with Jules Holland. And I was going to give you that version, but I just thought for the sheer studio perfection of this, it's probably best to hear it first time as it was intended. But the performance on Later is fucking awesome as well.
Okay.
And they've got the whole fiddlers behind them and all that sort of stuff. It's really, really good. Yes reached number 8 in the UK singles chart, selling over 200,000 copies in the UK. Got silver sales certification. Its success then encouraged the duo to write and record more. And a follow-up single in October of that year, You Do, which got to number 17. Now, the same month, McAlmont was interviewed by the enemy, apparently extremely drunk, in which he highlighted how his and Butler's working relationship had deteriorated and they had little communication, as well as accusing Butler of homophobia. He later retracted all his comments and issued Butler an apology. So, second single, October, he says that in the enemy. The following month, The Sound of McAlmont Butler, that album there, comes out. And it's basically a compilation of the group's recording sessions and the duo split following the release of this.
Ugh.
So yeah, the album is essentially it is a compilation. So it's like both the singles, Yes and You Do, with B tracks, etc., and one unreleased track. So it's all put together. So yeah, a couple of quote stroke reviews about this album. Louderthanwar.com. After leaving, it's just quite interesting to see how people have written about it. The album was re-released, I think, 10 or 20 years later as a special sort of updated version. So they said, after leaving influential Britpop originators, they hate being called that, Suede, during the recording of their second album, Dogman Star, mercurial guitarist Bernard Butler reached out to any other musicians, to create something that stood out from the laddish culture that was prevalent. What he didn't know then was that by teaming up with the heavenly voice of David McAlmont, he would create a work that, whilst retaining a core British sensibility, would tap into a vein that bled USA touchstones, music that encompassed soul, blues, gospel, and good old rock and roll. Yes, a song so perfect it is hard to put into words the feeling you get when you listen to it. Over 4+ minutes, we are sent soaring on a bed of raw guitars and sweeping strings, with thunderous drum sound that propels the song along at a rate of knots. All of this is fine and dandy, but when you add McAlmont's androgynous 3-octave vocal range, you're witnessing alchemy. If you're not bursting into a smile 3 minutes into this when he bursts into the yeah, yeah, yeahs, then I feel you may need to see a doctor. Some albums age well, some age badly, some become legendary. So let's get this straight from the off. This is a sensational album that has not only aged extremely well, but has become more powerful when listened to 20 years after the event. So he's a fan. Reviewing the song in his weekly UK chart column, James Masterson wrote that McAlmont sings like an angel, which is like repeated in loads of reviews, and describes the song as the most utterly wonderful record you have heard in ages. And in a retrospective review, Patrick Corcoran of the music website Albinism called McAlmont's vocal performance on the song incredible and noted that Yes is perhaps one of the most joyfully uplifting songs of all time. In 2014, Enemy ranked the song at number 174 in its list of 500 greatest songs of all time. Yeah, personnel, I just managed to scribble it in. So, Dave McAlmont, writing, vocals. Bernard Butler, writing, guitar, things, string arrangement, production. Makoto Sakamoto, drums. Jeannie Ball, violin. Jote Oshan, violin, Anne Stevenson, violin, Johnny Taylor, violin, Claire Orsler, viola, Joss Pook, viola, and Billy McGee, string arrangement, and I'm sure there's plenty others as well. Yeah, so lyrics, it is a bit repetitive, but here we go. So you want to know me now, how I've been. You can't help someone recover after what you did. So tell me, am I looking better? Have you forgot? Whatever it was that you couldn't stand, about me, about me, about me. Because, yes, I do feel better. Yes, I do feel all right. I feel well enough to tell you what you can do with what you've got to offer. You want to know me now, how I've been. You can't help somebody recover after what you did. So tell me, am I looking better? Have you forgot? Whatever it was that you couldn't stand, about me, about me, about me. Because, yes, I do feel better. Yes, I feel all right. I feel well enough to tell you what you can do with what you've got to offer. Yes, I do feel better. Yes, I feel all right. Yes, I feel well enough to tell you what you can do with what you've got to offer. On and on and on and on and on and on. Has no one said, stay away? Stay away. And then I'm better. And then it's yeah. And then it's I feel well enough to tell you what you can do with what you got 10 times.
Yes.
And that's it. From a personal point of view, I think this is an underappreciated fucking masterpiece. For a couple of reasons. It's just an epic piece of music. We talked recently about a song being about overblown, but still lovable. And this is one of those. It's just fucking huge. Now, this is also Bernard Butler's first ever attempt at producing, and it's just incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. McAlmont's vocals are just something special. I mean, here he goes, supersonic, as it were. Next track off the album, he does an amazing impression of Prince, right down to the low grumbling and up to the falsetto. It's that huge range, and he sounds fantastic. There's really decent songs on this album. They're all really enjoyable, but his vocal performance is just incredible. He comes from a background of gospel and other stuff as well,
That checks out.
and you could tell, but it is just amazing. And to be fair, he's done a lot of stuff, but he's not as well known as he should be because he's just an amazing talent. But things work out, things don't. I'm sure there's people with better voices than him that have never ever got a record contract. Just the way it goes. So yeah, it really is special. I think the uplifting anthem it's got so much going on with this wall of sound that you can listen to it again and again and find something different each time. Those swirling guitars at the end, there's about 18 of them. Yeah. And they're all doing little different sort of like motifs. It's incredible. And you just say the percussion, there's so much going on.
I even love how they take it to the end and you get like this applause.
Yeah.
Because like after a song like that, it requires applause. You know what I mean? That's the amount of work that went into it. And I also love how it's just called Yes, which is literally the first bit of like affirmation one could think of. Like say a word positive that encapsulates affirmation. Yes, you know what I mean? And this song is all about like putting that out into the atmosphere that you've made it out on the other side of something negative and everything's okay. So the whole Yes thing is perfect for the name.
Yeah, and if you see look on YouTube, etc., the comments below this song are all really positive, and there are people related to their own lives. It's not everyone has been in a Britpop band and then been kicked out and replaced by a 16-year-old, but people have broken up and have their heart broken and trying to move on and feel better. And this is one of those songs that I think does that trick. We were talking recently about headspace in terms of certain songs to listen to. I think this is a great one if you just want to feel good, let alone your personal romantic situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to carry on from this, and they have done other stuff, but after pursuing solo careers for several years, the duo reunited in 2002, and then they did an album proper, as it were, rather than these recordings. It was called Bring It Back, and it got to number 18 in the UK charts, and 2 singles, Falling, number 23, and Bring It Back, title track 36. Nice. They made preparations for a third album, but it never really panned out, and then EMI dropped them from the label. They did other bits and pieces, and then in 2014, Butler organised 2 special shows as McAlmont Butler in aid of the Bobath Centre, which is a cerebral palsy treatment organisation. So they got together for that, and then the following year they did a UK tour as the headline act, McAlmont and Butler. Nice. So obviously they made up.
I was going to say,
but they haven't really done it. Yeah,
mended all the fences and everything.
But no, I mean that was 9 years ago, and they haven't no more output then. So but Bernard Butler seems always doing something with somebody. Wow. I don't know you because I know of Suede, but you probably didn't follow.
Yes,
Suede. So his second album, they really fell out big time. He was really getting into it musically. Mr. Anderson was being as usual. I want to be David Bowie's self and partying and all that, and they fell out about the sound as well and everything, and all that sort of stuff. And then basically, he split from the band, or whoever you want to believe how it happened. So yeah, so it was really, really shitty on both. So I think they've kind of made up now, but bitchiness was rife back then, particularly in the Britpop era.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So yeah, but so that's McAlmont and Butler.
No, it was a good listen and incredibly uplifting. I'm gonna have to keep this one in my my arsenal for whenever the time is right for this. Like we said, Headspace or whatever, because I'm sure this will come in handy.
Rainy day one. Yeah. Okay, cool. Right, I'll wrap things up. Thanks for listening to this, Andy. Folks out there, What do you think of this? Do you like this? Yes. Hit the like button, and please leave some comments as well about this track, this band, this album. I think it's really decent, actually, and the final track you do as well is another sort of awesome, epic, as it were. So yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Love to hear your thoughts. So please drop us a line, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do. Help support the channel. If you like all this stuff we're wanging out, then show it by signing up. Really helps the channel, and we really appreciate everybody who does support the channel. That being said, thanks again so much for watching, and we'll see all of you on the next episode of the Audiophiles.
We'll see you later, guys.